The absolute legend that is Halo 3 ODST turned 15 back in September, and with it brought some sexy ass orbital drop shock trooper merch. Today we're going to be reviewing the pinnacle of that merch with the Halo 3 ODST Buck statue by Dark Horse. This statue shows our beloved Edward Buck before he became a juiced up Spartan 4. Positioned on the new Mombasa rooftops and holding the ODST synonymous silenced SMG, this thing just screams classic sad jazz. This chap is exclusive to the Xbox Gear Shop and is limited to only 2,000 units worldwide, and at the time of recording this thing is still in bloody stock, which I've got to say is flipping surprising to me considering just how much fans fap over ODST and Buck. But the community has had some initial issues with this statue when it was first announced, which could explain why some of you held off from buying it, and I'll go over those points very shortly. This PVC statue is 9 inches tall and 7x7 girth at the base. It will cost you $140 or 140 British pounds, which is a pretty high price considering that Dark Horse's Halo Infinite statues of Chief and the Euro were all lower than $100 when they were released, so this is a pretty steep order. I really love the new style of boxes Dark Horse have used here for this one and the Halo 2 Anniversary Chief. Previously their statues were in this ugly ass open window display, which for me always looks real crap and doesn't properly protect things during shipping. I much prefer this closed off look. It gives it a much more premium feel, but at the cost of having it displayed all boxed up with the statue still on show. The art itself looks pretty good, with the statue shown on the front with the new Mombasa backdrop which continues onto the side. On the back we get more images of the statue, very sexy, with the iconic ODST cover of Rookie on the side. There's nothing overly exciting about the packaging here, but it does the job nicely and doesn't look crap, I guess. Inside the box you get a certificate of authenticity. Without it your statue is utter scum and counts for nothing. I've got number 1569 out of 2000 right here. Is that a good number? Let me know. And then you get the statue itself, which of course is a one-piece puzzle, no assembly required. Now my first thoughts on this thing when I first laid my eyes on it is that it looks absolutely sick. Just like you, I'm a huge fan of ODST and love being miserable in the rain. And when this thing was announced, I jumped at the chance and ordered it. But with all that passion comes a deep analysis and criticism from the fan base. Bunch of losers. There were lots of fans who weren't so happy with this thing when they saw it. Now the biggest issue that was raised was the weapon of choice, and that's the inclusion of this silenced SMG. As in-game Buck normally assumed the assault rifle and possibly the M6S pistol, but then there's also some confusion about it being Rookie and not Buck. But not for the smart fans out there, obviously this is meant to be Buck when they said this is a Buck statue. Xbox Gear did come out to explain why he had the SMG and not the assault rifle, and to clear up that it was Buck and not the Rookie. The SMG's inclusion here is really no issue for me. In universe he can use whatever is around. He can wield a brick if he really wants to. But what they should have done is included multiple weapons and everybody wins. But nope, we've just got the one. The only thing that I think is really missing from Buck here is that he does have a greyish stripe that runs down the top of his helmet, so it's a bit disappointing to see that they've missed that, because the rest of it's really spotless. Either way, let me know if you think that this is a good likeness to Buck. The statue itself is really well made. It is packed with tons of detail. All over this thing you have straps and plates that capture the stunning, orgasmic design of the ODST armour. Every inch has more levels to its depth. There's a real nice texture added to the undersuit to give it some life. That was hard to make out of the textures in game. However, there are a few points that could have benefited from a little bit more dimension. Some of the buckles and straps have ended up looking really flat against the armour. It's especially noticeable here on the cockplate and over the shoulders. Adding folds to the straps would have gone a long way into giving them a little pizzazz. His combat knife is tucked away behind the SMG and it's got a good amount of detail on the handle. The chest plate is also nicely detailed with some decals. His name and rank is at the top with UNSC symbol on the side and UNSC at the bottom. He's also got his blood type on his shoulder, which is another iconic design for the ODST armour. One of the main attractions here is of course that SMG, and it looks especially tasty here. Silver highlights the inner details for the gun as well as all the tiny little rivets on either side. Red is used for the sight and other lights on the body, which of course match the in-game look. The sculpting on the gun is pure awesomeness. Whether you agree that Buck should have it or not, I'm sure we can all agree that lots of love was put into making this thing look bang on. The painting all over the armour is also fantastic to witness. The camo on the thighs and the arms also pretty banging if you ask me. I think the paint on the hands though could have been a little bit better. If they just highlighted the fingernails and went a bit lighter on the wash, it could have looked much more realistic. The visor is also just your basic metallic paint. Nothing special at all goes into this, but it just gets the job done. Then we get to the base, which represents the rooftops of New Mombasa itself, home to Halo ODST. There's a great amount of detail put into this thing, with the grated floor with the silver all over it, leaving black in between the gaps, which adds a nice deepness to the piece. The elevated vent is also a cool touch and allows Buck to have a bit more of a swanky variety to his pose. However, with the base I do think that it is unnecessarily enormous. While the rest of the Dark Horse statues have a nice tidy hexagonal base with a small footprint, this statue is just way too large and takes up way too much space when trying to line it up with the rest of the statues. I would have much preferred them to keep it tight with the hexagon. The Yoko base looks crisp, and I don't think making it this large really adds anything to the statue. If anything, it detracts from it. The pose also does a good job at highlighting the ODST armour, but it really isn't that exciting. I would have loved them to go the extra mile, maybe having him standing on parts of a drop pod that has been broken and cracked open, or holding the combat knife in hand with the SMG at his side. It would have looked absolutely sick and much more dynamic. If the statue was of course of Rookie, which may have actually been better giving us the main character instead of Buck, but then they could have gone really basic and just given us the pose from the cover, because at least that would have had purpose to its simplicity here. However, it does look really great as it is, but I just feel like they could have gone that step up. I think the biggest criticism I have to give this statue though has to be with its price. Excluding the Halo 2 Chief, but the rest of the Dark Horse statues are all made out of PVC as well, just like Bucky Boy here. They're also quite relative in scale with one another, but at $140, the price is pretty disgusting in comparison. This yokai was also exclusive to the Xbox Gear Shop and only cost $100 and included extra pieces. The Grapple Shot Chief here is $70, which is half the price of this flipping Buck statue. And then we get to the Halo 2 Anniversary Chief, which is £160 when I bought it. That's £20 more than Buck, yes, but the Chief is hella worth it. Not only is the box jaw dropping, but the statue itself is made from poly resin, not PVC, and it's got a flipping light up feature with a thick and necessary base. For $40 extra, we could have at least gotten a swappable head for Nathan Fillion with his sexy little mug, or even the swappable assault rifle. That way everybody wins with the weapon of choice. But alas, we got absolutely nothing except a punch in the dick. I think they just got a bit greedy here for the price, and were counting on the hype for ODST to be enough to charge a premium. Sometimes our good nature is taken advantage of, and of course it's our fault for buying it, but when it's a limited unit size, you feel like you have to throw money down quick before they're all gone. I could say it's a real stupid approach, but it worked for my dumbass. But with the highly decorative Halo Foundry ranking system, I'll be giving Buck here a high 3 out of 5, which is really good, but just not great. But like I said, the price is just way too steep for what it offers. It doesn't really justify that massive increase at all. And I think the base is pretty much pointless, could have been smaller, and it's also got a somewhat underwhelming pose. They really could have given us the assault rifle on his back or tactical pistol on his side, then maybe it'll bump up the worth a tad. But despite those points, what we've got here is a pretty awesome statue. The sculpting and paint look fantastic. I think it's a good piece to give justice to ODST's 15th anniversary. But what about you? Did you pick this lad up or did you give it a miss? Either way, let me know what you think down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for all the latest news and reviews on all things Halo merch. Catch you next time, you thick, juicy and sexy Spartan. Peace out.